All right, let's take a look at the example here of vectors, application of vectors. It says here that two forces with magnitudes of 45 newtons and 62 newtons are applied to an object. The magnitude of the resultant is 100 newtons. Find the angle between these two forces. Round your answers to the nearest whole number. So we're looking at the direction, right? We want to know the angle between the two forces. So let's take and draw in a picture of these two vectors, these directed line segments. So I'm going to go ahead and draw in this first force vector, and I'm going to draw it in here horizontally. All right, we'll put it off here in this direction. And that's a force there of 45 newtons. So force vector 1, we can give it a name if we want. And then we got another vector, that's 62 newtons in magnitude. So I'll go ahead and draw that vector off this way. And there's, we'll call that F2. And that's 62 newtons. And then let's draw in the resultant. So we know, again, we can draw in our parallelogram. Right, as we draw in the parallelogram, we can then look at our diagonal it forms from the initial points of both these force vectors. And there's the combined effect of those two forces. There's the resultant, right? There's F1 plus F2, which is 100 newtons. And let's go ahead and label in the other sides. We know it's a parallelogram. Opposite sides are parallel and congruent. All right, what we're looking for, of course, is the angle. Let's put it in red. We'll put it in different color. What we want to know is the angle between the two force vectors that we've drawn in here. If you want, we can call that theta. We want to find theta. Well, right now, let's go to our triangles. So we knew in drawing that diagonal, we formed two triangles in parallelogram. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and look at finding the angle here. Let's look at this upper triangle. All right, well, we know we can find this angle. All right, we'll call it, if you want, we'll call it alpha. We know in this triangle we've got a side, and a side. So we have a side, side triangle with us. And that means we have a law, right, the law of cosines that we can use to find any of those parts that are missing in that triangle, which we want to know this angle alpha. So remember, law of cosines, just pick a side. So we want to find angle alpha I've drawn in here, in orange. Side opposite of that is our diagonal, our resultant vector, which is 100 newtons. So we pick a side. We know the square of that, 100 squared, equals the sum of squares of the other two sides, which are what, 45 and 62. And they minus twice their product, 2 times 45 times 60, times the cosine of the angle opposite, which is our unknown, angle alpha. So we go now where we can solve that, right? We can solve for alpha. We got to get cosine alpha term by itself. So let's do a little algebra. Let's go ahead and move these two constants over. So we can subtract 45 squared over here. Subtract the 62 squared over to the other side. And with that, we have what? 100 squared minus 45 squared minus 62 squared equal to what? Negative 2 times 45 times 60 times the cosine of alpha. And then we're ready to divide out the coefficients. So let's go ahead and do our last step to isolate cosine alpha. We can get rid of the coefficients. That's with it, and that's a, well, not a 60, it should be a 62. All right, so let's go ahead and change that. That's a 62, not a 60. So let's go and divide out those coefficients. All right, so with that said, now we've got what we want. We've isolated cosine alpha. So the cosine of alpha is equal to 100 squared minus 45 squared minus 62 squared divided by negative 2 times 45 times 62. Now to get alpha, we've got the function value of alpha, but we want alpha. So we're going to have to use inverse function. So we'll use cosine inverse, swap these out. Cosine inverse of 100 squared minus 45 squared minus 62 squared divided by negative 2 times 45 times 62. And we're ready to go to our calculator, right? We need to go type that in, and we'll get our angle measurement for alpha. All right, so let's pull up our TI. We'll put it in together here. So going to our calculator. All right, second cosine. Now let's go ahead quickly before we begin. Make sure your mode's in degrees. All right, so we're looking for an angle measurement in degrees. Second cosine. Now let's be careful. Let's put a parentheses. Got 100 squared and put in the numerator. Minus 45 squared. Minus 62 squared, and close out the parentheses. Divided by denominator. Let's put it in parentheses. Negative 2 times 45 times 62. Close it. And then close out the inverse function. Right? And let's hit the enter button. And we get in what? 137.75. So 137.8. Well, 138 degrees. I think it said round the nearest whole number. So we got 138 degrees, right, with that angle measurement. So let's go back to our, all right, so 138 degrees. All right, so there's angle alpha. So this alpha angle measurement, that's 138 degrees right here. Well, now we know this angle. So theta, which is what we were looking for, I've got in red. Let's put it back in red. We know in a parallelogram, any two consecutive angles, right, are going to sum 180. They're supplementary. So theta is going to equal 180 minus what? 138. So again, what is 180 minus 138? That's 42 degrees. So theta, there's the angle measurement between the two force factors. So the angle between the two forces is 42 degrees. So angle between F1 and F2, 42 degrees. So again, using our parallelogram method, right? Using some triangle trig, right? The law of cosines, as we learned here earlier in this chapter. So I hope that helps.